What's up guys, my name is Robin and welcome to the first ever TV Talk episode on my channel, RobzarrGoesRawr. Now, first of all, I do want to just apologise for my voice. I have come down with a really crappy cold. And I wanted to get some stuff recorded before I lose my voice, which I think is what's actually going to happen, so that's all fun times. I got ill from being at work. There's a bug going around and I think I got it somehow, even though I don't really see all the other members of staff. I did see my manager and supervisor one day last week, so that must be where I got it from. But I wanted to record some stuff before I actually do lose my voice and am unable to record anything. So yeah, apologies about the coughing and the sniffling that I'm sure is gonna happen during this video. I'll try and cut as much out from the video as I can. If I'm like mid-sentence though, it's gonna have to stay in, so I do apologise. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about Big Bang Theory. For those of you who know me, my friends that know me, I am a massive fan of this show. I adore this show. I can't tell you how many times I've watched reruns from episode 1 right up until the current episode. We're on episode 16 of season 9 at the moment, I think, and every time it ends I just go right back to the beginning. I got so many TV shows I should be catching up on, and I don't seem to be doing that. It's my go-to show for absolutely anything. Coming home from work, before I go to work, just because I got some free time. For any other reason, Big Bang Theory is the only thing I seem to be watching at the moment, and I was a big fan of it anyway, but the last few seasons have been especially good. That's the word I'm going to use, good. So I just want to talk about where I think the show is going, some of the questions that are yet to be unanswered from the show. Some of them are quite superstitious, aka what is Penny's last name, because no one knows what that is, and I will tell you what I did to try and find that out in a minute. It's nothing creepy or anything, but yeah, there's that, and then obviously, just so you know, spoiler alert, Bernadette is now pregnant. It's been a big couple of seasons. Obviously Bernadette and Howard got married already. Leonard and Penny are now married. Sheldon and Amy broke up and then they got back together and now they've had sex. And now Bernadette is pregnant, and it's been a wild ride of episodes the last few weeks. So yeah, it's good. The reason this show is probably my favourite show on TV at the moment is because it really, I know it still exaggerates it, but it really humanises the kind of person that I am, I guess. I mean, I'm not a physics genius or anything, but as far as the comic book geek gaming kind of thing goes, that's kind of like, that's me, I guess. And it really humanises that, and oh god, sorry guys, I just put my phone on silent. I forgot to put my phone on silent. There we go. So yeah, it really humanises a type of people that hasn't been humanised before. The main characters of the show are these brainiac physicist geeks, basically, and I think it's really cool that they've actually given people like that a voice, because they hadn't done that before. It's the first kind of show to do it, and that's probably why it's so popular all around the world. It's a brilliant show, and it's funny. I laugh at the same jokes. If I watch an episode, I laugh at the same jokes every single time, and it's good that they have the live audience and stuff. Is just like, you know, it's funny because, you know, just how they tell the stories and how the actors portray the different characters is phenomenal. I mean, the people that went into the acting side of Big Bang Theory, they hadn't done much acting before. I think Jim Parsons, who plays Sheldon, and Johnny Galecki, who plays Leonard, had worked with Bill Prady and or Chuck Lorre previously on a different show. So when the parts came up for Sheldon and Leonard, they were pretty much solidly, they had the parts. Kaylee Cuoco, who plays Penny, actually auditioned once and didn't get the part, and then came back and auditioned again and didn't get the part. So they shot a pilot that never actually got seen. I've never seen the original pilot, and it didn't work. So they revamped everything, and Kaylee came back in and did another audition, and she ended up getting the part. So it's just a kind of matter of waiting. It was kind of a matter of waiting for her, I guess. I don't think she'd worked with Chuck Lorre or Bill Prady previous to Big Bang Theory like Jim Parsons and Johnny Galecki had. I don't know about can't remember Simon Helberg, who plays Howard Wolowitz. I think that's his last name. I know Simon's his first name. And Kunal Nier, I don't know if that's how you pronounce the guy that plays Raj's last name. I know his first name is Kunal, but yeah, there we go. I don't know how they got involved really, but I think that was probably the same kind of audition process that Kaylee Cuoco had to go through. But the cast they didn't really have, like, they weren't big TV stars, they weren't big film stars, and now they are probably the most popular people in TV at the moment, and they probably have been since the first season of this TV show. I know Jim Parsons has gone on to win 2 Emmy Awards. I think Johnny Galecki has gone on to win 1. And they have done some pretty big TV shows and films now. And I think Jim Parsons even did a West End show. So it's kind of like it's propelled their careers upwards. And because it's a TV show and not a film, it's kind of like they get that break in between where they get the free time to do any of the projects they want, which is good. But where do I think this TV show is going? It's tough. It's tough to say if I think we've still got a good amount of seasons left. Because I don't know. Hang on a minute, my cat's trying to. Hello, Sif. You coming up? You coming up? Don't whip your head. Hello. Here's your Sif bear. Here's your Sif bear. Do I think there's a lot? There's like, if I say how many I think is like a lot of seasons. If let's say more than 5, yeah. Do I think there's more than 5 seasons left of this TV show that they could film? I don't know. With Bernadette and Howard being pregnant, it's tough to say. I can't see how they would drop that bomb on people as fans and then just be like, no, we're gonna just give you like 2 more seasons and be done with it. I think by the beginning of season 10, which is the next season that will come up when this one finishes, the first episode back will be when Howard and Bernadette's child is introduced, because I was working out how long they perceive the break in between seasons is, and I remembered back to the season where Leonard had to go to the Arctic for a project with Stephen Hawking, and that worked out as roughly 4 months. And from the time they've introduced it into this season, season 9, and the end of that is roughly 12 weeks, I think, till the end of the season. Is it 12 weeks? Might be a little bit less than that. We're on episode 16. Maybe 8 weeks. But anyway, that works out at roughly between now and the end of season 9, and the end of season 9 and the beginning of season 10. That works out at roughly 9 months. And that makes me think that, you know, the first episode back will be Bernadette. We'll see what happens with Bernadette and having the baby. If all goes to plan with that, we don't know what's going to happen. I was actually really shocked that they played Howard's character as at first glance maybe not wanting to have the kid, because when I looked back at the other episodes, he was the one that wasn't pushing Bernadette to have a kid, but he was the one that really strongly in his mind, at one point he debated breaking up with Bernadette over this, that he wanted a kid, and now it's happened. He's like obviously got like these like doubts in his mind on whether he's actually going to be able to make it as a good father. And I was actually really shocked they showed that, because it would have been really easy for them to show him as just over the moon and delighted. And it was really good what they did. Actually, they said like they showed him having to take a step back, discuss it with his friends, and come up with a plan to be able to provide for this kid, which is a really human thing to do. You know, like I say, it would have been really easy for them to just be like, oh, Howard's over the moon, and have a big party about it. But he did actually have to go back and double take, which I think a lot of guys do. You know, there's that whole kind of shit, I'm gonna have to provide for a kid. Am I, you know, especially for Howard, because he's basically a big kid, am I gonna be able to provide for this kid? Am I gonna be a good role model for a kid? And especially after his dad left him, I thought it was I wasn't expecting the reaction that Howard gave at all. And actually, it really did kind of put into perspective that you can want a kid as much as you like, but whether you think you can handle it and be able to provide and be a good dad is a different story. And I thought it was really cool that they put that in there, even though he's the one in the relationship that constantly wanted a kid. So I think we're going to have a few seasons where there's this kid. I do think, however, that means that at some point Howard and Bernadette are going to move. I think it means they're going to be less involved with the group. Maybe they won't be. I think they'll always be main characters, but I think maybe they're not going to be able to be as involved, and maybe that's what the next season is going to be about. Them having to kind of like disjoin themselves from the group in some way that they can look after their kid, because it's not going to be a case of just leave them there with a bowl of whatever it was that they had when they were looking after Howard's mother. You know, they're going to have their own child, and it's going to be completely dependent on them. And it's going to be a case of they're not going to be able to do the things that they do socially every night anymore. You know, I think it's going to be a massive group dynamic changer. Despite the fact I think what the guys do as a group would be completely suitable for a kid, going to a comic book store, going to Disneyland, playing games, all that kind of stuff. I think that would be completely suitable for a kid, but I think it would be more on Bernadette to say, we need to stay home and look after our kid and raise our kid. So I think that's going to be a dynamic changer for the group. And at the end of that episode, we saw maybe Leonard and Penny are thinking about having kids one day. Whether we'll actually see that happen in the show, I don't know. If they've brought it up, I'd like to say that we will see them have a kid in the show. I think that's why they did it. I think that the TV show will last long enough for them to have a kid. Will Sheldon and Amy ever get married? I don't know. Now that we know as an audience that he had the intention of proposing to her, and now that she knows, now that we've met Sheldon's Meemaw, who was not the nice lady that we perceived her. She was a nice lady, but she had a bit of a dark side. So now that we know that Amy knows that Sheldon was planning on proposing, I think there's going to be a very long wait before it actually happens. Especially now that they've had sex and everything. I think Sheldon's going to want to take things one step at a time. I think that so I think that in order for it to still be a special moment on the show, we are going to have to wait a little bit longer to actually be able to be surprised and, you know, shocked that it's happened. At this point, I think there's more chance of Sheldon getting his Nobel Prize. And for the last couple of seasons, I've had my doubts on whether that's actually going to happen. And I think that, because that's been the theme right from the beginning, I just feel like Sheldon getting his Nobel Prize would be, I don't know, it would be too predictable. It might be a big event for them to end the whole TV show on. I don't know. I think we're more likely to see Leonard and Penny have a kid than we are to see Sheldon get his Nobel Prize anytime soon. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't even know if we'll see him get it. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see on that one, I guess. But it's kind of like the whole show has got this aura around it where basically the same thing happens every episode, but you're okay because that's how it is. You're okay with it, the fact that basically the same thing happens. There's that story, like that one story per episode, and then there's all the ongoing storylines, and it's just kind of like you're okay with the fact that things are the same basically every episode, because that's how things are for them as characters. You know, with Sheldon's very strict scheduling patterns and things like that, because he is that kind of character, you as an audience accept the fact that things are going to be pretty similar, apart from the story, for each episode. You know, things are going to happen roughly at the same time, roughly the same things are going to happen. You don't really see new sets, and it's kind of like you don't really go anywhere, but at the same time you're taking this, I almost want to say, humanizing journey with these characters that perhaps felt themselves as outsiders towards the beginning. Because if you look at Sheldon and Leonard, they didn't have any company apart from Howard and Raj. They didn't get out, they didn't do anything, and now they're these two guys. One of them's got a really long-term girlfriend who he loves and who he's given up his vow of never having sex for, and Leonard obviously is married to what people would consider the prettiest girl ever, and you know, he got the girl he wanted, and both of them have had massive confidence boosts. Sheldon has become a hell of a lot more emotional. When Amy broke up with him, it did actually destroy him, which was it was good to watch that in Sheldon's way of portraying it. You know, it was kind of like he didn't want to feel, but he knew that he would, and we got these little hints, because if he'd gone all out emotional breakdown, it would have been completely off of his character. So it was good that they showed it in kind of like how he would have an emotional breakdown, and it was just kind of like he felt very distant from everyone, and that was very well done as well, actually. And as for Penny's last name, at the moment I think there's more mystery about that than whether Sheldon and Amy will ever get married, or whether Sheldon and Amy will ever have a kid, whether Leonard and Penny will ever have a kid. Like, the most mystery around this TV show is what the freaking hell is Penny's last name, and no one knows. At this point, I don't even know if the actor Kaylee Cuoco knows. I mean, she must do. It must have been on her scripting and stuff, but it's not in the credits. It's not on Wikipedia anywhere. The only people that know are probably Kaylee Cuoco herself and Bill Prady and other members of the cast and crew. I don't think anyone outside of the Big Bang Theory cast and crew actually knows what Penny's last name is. And I tried to figure it out when they showed her dad on the TV show. So I was sat there watching the credits, and you know the Big Bang Theory credits, they kind of go quite quickly. And I was sat there watching the credits and hoping that it was going to come up with Mr. whatever the last name is, like it does with Sheldon's mum and Bernadette's dad and Leonard's mum. It always comes up with Mrs. Cooper, Mrs. Hofstadter, all that kind of thing, and Mrs. Wolowitz when Howard's mum was alive. But it just said, for his name, it just said Wyatt. There was no last name there. And, you know, I don't think we're ever. I think that will be the biggest game changer of the TV show, is if we ever find out Penny's last name. It's kind of like a big old superstition that we're never actually going to find out. I mean, even when they got married, there was no, do you Leonard Hofstadter take Penny, blah, 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 to take your lawfully wedded whatever. There wasn't even that, you know. They got married and we still didn't hear her last name. That being said, Howard got married and we still didn't see the face of Mrs. Wallowitz. And we've seen glimpses of her kind of walking in and out of, like, in between doors and stuff. Like, we've seen, like, her figure and stuff, but we never actually saw what she looked like. There's no pictures anywhere. It's really quite strange that the biggest mysteries around the show are, you know, completely random, I guess. I was about to say completely character-based, but then I was like, actually, it's not a mystery that they're character... It's not surprising that the biggest mysteries are character-based at all, really, because the characters in the show are, you know, so strong, but it's like really random things about each character are kind of like the biggest mystery ever. It's really strange. So do I think we're gonna have another 5+ seasons of Big Bang Theory? I don't know, is the answer to that. I do think that eventually everyone is going to have to kind of split up. I can't even see Leonard moving in with Penny anytime soon, and they're freaking married. So that's fun. I think it would have to take Sheldon to propose to Amy and Amy to move in with him for Leonard to move out with Penny. Because Sheldon is learning, bless him, he is learning that Penny and Leonard should be living together. He is learning that, and it's tough on him because he doesn't like change. And I don't know, every time I think that's it now, it's gonna stick, they go right back. Sorry, I just knocked the microphone there. They go right back to the beginning of Leonard just moves back in, and I think if they do that too often, it's just going to get predictable. So I think the next time it happens will be the time that it sticks, but I can't see it happening again anytime soon. I don't know. So do I think Big Bang Theory is going to last much longer? I'd like to think it would. I think there's still a lot that we need to see happen. I don't think it's lost its popularity at all. If anything, it keeps growing in popularity. So as far as fan base and views go, in order for them to keep going on, I think they're pretty safe. I don't know. I want to think that this would be the kind of TV show that would never end, but I don't know. I think there would be a limit on how much they could show, and the only way they can bring new characters in now that would be main cast characters was if Raj got another girlfriend, because obviously he broke up with Emily to be with that girl that looked like Elsa from Frozen, and now she don't want anything to do with him because she's got back with her boyfriend, and it's kind of like a mess. But I don't know. I want to think that it's going to last. I do want to think that it's going to last at least 5 more years. Because I think it's got the fan base and the viewership to be able to do that. I think it does. Whether they'll be able to keep coming up with unique stories, though, I don't know. Because like, it's been 9 years, and you know they still haven't doubled up on anything yet. So it's possible. I think Bill Prady and Chuck Lorre are fantastic producers and directors. I think they know how much this show means to people, but that means, but I think that means that they all know when enough is enough as well. Which is good, because I don't want a TV show like this to be run into the ground. Because if it was, then it'd kind of ruin the whole thing. So, yeah. So that's my thoughts on Big Bang Theory. Once again, I'm sorry that I sound like shit. I feel worse than I sound, believe me. I can't even explain to you guys how rough I feel right now. I'm being kicked in the ass by this virus thing that's going around work at the moment. But next week, I think I will be discussing She says, unsubtly looking at her schedule board, superhero TV shows. That's what we'll be discussing next week, and where I think they're going, and how I think the actors are going to be. What's the word I'm looking for? How I think the actors are going to impact the film world of superhero cinematic stuff. So that's what I will talk about next week. I'm actually going to record some more stuff for this week right now, so prepare for some more nasally coffee videos for the next couple of days. And I'm going to give my voice a rest and actually rest up and hopefully get rid of this damn cold. So let me know what you thought of this video. I know this video was very kind of like all over the place. I didn't really know how to start off. I don't really know what I'm actually going to make TV talk into just yet. It's just something new that I'm trying. I'm going to try a few different things until I find something, like some kind of way of approaching this kind of vlog that is something that I want to keep doing. So the first few videos of this weekly vlog will be probably a little varied on how they're presented. Hopefully they won't all be me being ill. So yeah, this is just something new I wanted to try to kind of make the channel a bit more varied, to get a more wider audience coming over and checking it out. I don't know whether it's going to work or not, but I'm keeping it around for now just to see how it goes and see if I can find a good way of kind of like putting this kind of vlog forward to you guys. So I'm just going to play around with a few ways of being able to present my ideas on this, and the topics that I talk about will probably change up every now and then, and it's going to be just kind of it's going to be a kind of experimental thing, I guess. It's going to be the same with film talk, because I haven't done that before, but I am more kind of like, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for again. I have more knowledge about the film universe than I do the TV kind of thing, I guess. But there are shows out there that have affected me so much that I do want to talk about them, just like films have affected me. So I think this will allow me to push myself to watch a wider range of things on TV, because I know there are some fantastic TV shows out there, and I've watched a lot of them, but I haven't caught up completely on most things thanks to Big Bang Theory. So I need to stop watching Big Bang Theory so much and actually watch other things, which I'm hoping this will make me do, so that I've got new content for you guys every week. But like I say, the way I'm presenting it and the format of it and everything about it other than the subject will vary for the first few weeks, because I don't know what I'm going to do with this kind of section yet. Like I say, it's just something new I want to try, and I'm hoping eventually I'll be able to find kind of like a middle ground where I can say this is good, and take the stuff out that isn't. So I know this episode is probably a bit all over the place and there wasn't really much structure to it, but I'm still trying to find that structure on how to kind of work these kind of vlogs. So that's why this episode was kind of like all over the place. I'm hoping it's not going to be like that for too long. I'm going to try and find a way to structure these kinds of vlogs better. And it'll be better when I've got internet as well, because I'll actually be able to pull up some facts and stuff online and make sure I'm actually talking about the right thing. And once I start watching some more up-to-date programs as well, it will be better, because you can just talk about previous episodes and things like that. So this was just kind of like a first start for this kind of thing. I'm not just going to keep it to one TV show. Like I said, next week we're going to be talking about all the superhero TV shows that have been out over the last couple of years and how they're affecting cinema. And I don't know, I'm just trying to find that sweet spot where I know it works well enough for me to continue to put videos out like this. So it's going to take some it's going to take a few goes, so if you have any tips, let me know in the comments below. If there's anything TV related you want me to talk about in a video like this, then again leave a comment. I'll see what I can do about putting it into a video. And I need to go and have a rest before I record anything else today, because my voice is going there. But that's going to be it from me for this video. TV Talk will be back next week, and Film Talk will be out on Friday, where I think I will be talking about Suicide Squad, which I'm excited about as a film. So I have a lot more to say about that than I did about Big Bang Theory. So that's going to be it from me for now. Make sure you keep an eye out for the rest of the videos that are coming out this week, and until the next time you hear from me, guys, as always, stay classy, gamers.